Hello, wrestling fans, and thank you for joining us once again this week as we are reliving the extreme. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And ECW's own Mr. Chad Austin. How's it going out there tonight, guys?
What up, fellas?
Well, this week's show, we were talking before we started recording, not a lot of meat on the bone here per se, but we're going to try to give you an entertaining podcast with this material. Yeah. We are getting closer and closer. You can feel it. We're getting closer and closer to Ultra Clash, but this is July the 27th, 1993.
This is a Cornish hen of an episode.
Yeah. that bone's not even very big. Jesus. That was picked upon by the pigeons and then the seagulls. And then if you live where I live, the rats scavenge the rest of whatever you can get off of it. Yeah, that bone stunk.
Well, that being said, I wanted, before we dig into this show, as I was reading the Pro Wrestling Torch from around this time to prepare for the show today, just to see if there was anything to report. This is actually the week also. It was actually July 30th that this happened, where Paul E. Dangerously, or Paul Heyman, was also booking the World Wrestling Network project in Texas that never actually got off the ground.
Was he actually really booking it then?
It's the way it reads here. Let's see. Yeah, he did the promotion. He did the promotion and the booking for it, along with Jim Hudson. I don't know. And then Jim Crockett Jr. was involved in it too. Just to the card, let me see here. Black Bart pinned Steve Dane. Didn't Steve Dane recently pass away? Is that the guy that... I don't know. Mike Davis pinned Johnny Rotten. And
actually,
let's see.
Ian's other brother.
Hollywood John Tatum pinned Wild Bill Irwin. There's some Texas for you. The Komodo Dragons, which was Ted Petty and Dean Malenko under masks, defeated Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond. Gary Young versus Honest Mario Savoldi, who was Ted Petty without the dragon mask.
It's a rib.
And their match apparently never started because the convict, the guy who threw Vince McMahon through a wall or whatever, Nails, interrupted. And then the main event was actually, they call this, it was a surprise 37-minute contest between Bob Orton and Jake the Snake Roberts.
All right, well, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
After you said you read that Paul Lee booked that, and I just said, do you really think Paul Lee booked that? After you read them matches and the results, do you think Paul Lee booked that?
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, did you hear one no contest, one run in, one anything, any angle?
Other than the Nails deal. No.
That reeked of either who this Jim Hudson guy is or Jim Crockett. If the fucking show even happened. Because as we know, nobody went to him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Crockett said this happened.
And how hard is it the facts, Wade Keller or Meltzer results that, were fictitious?
Yeah.
That's fucking, what is Meltzer going to do when he gets a fax from, whatever the 703 area code is from Campbell, California? He's going to think that it's Meltzer sending him something, and same with Keller. Yeah, that to me just reeked like, I didn't want to shit on you, Nate, by saying it like that. But I just knew that there's just no chance that Paul Lee had his fingerprints on that. I just didn't see it I didn't see any of it from the beginning until they did the Manhattan Center.
Yeah, it kind of reeks of like you said, it kind of reeks of being booked like Mid-Atlantic or world class kind of show.
It's bad.
Well, hey, Aaron, thanks for joining the show.
I just wanted to at least put a little sauce on the bone to see if maybe, add a little flavor or something.
The next fax came in and be like, no lie, Shit you not, there were 15,000 people there.
At the Sportatorium.
They were hanging from the rafters. See that nails running.
Was it by that point? Was it the Global Dome?
Let's see, the Fort Hood Military Base in Kylene, Texas.
Well, see, we have no idea. There's no precedent about how many asses they can put every 18 inches in the Fort Hood Military Base. So they could have sold the place out with 74. and we're making history here. In the
standing room only. Standing room only. 74.
The SRO signs went out early today. Yeah, they could have did anything at that point. I'm not even sure Paulie's even been to Texas. Much less booked anything for Crockett down there. And I'll be honest, as a guy that worked there, I was so low on the totem pole that I was just not privileged to the information, or it was just so in its infancy that, it was between Paul and Crockett. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, well, I don't know. If I'm thinking like Paul, like he's looking at what he has in that locker room right there, and he goes, "I can get you a guy named Sapu." Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And Crockett's going, "I don't know who the fuck that is." And I can get you Taz. And and I'm sure Paulie made a promo tape, of all the guys that he has access to, and it looks sexy for Jim, who I don't know who's working who in this whole entire relationship. Honestly, I think they're both lying to each other. Honestly,
that's probably the equation for sure. So into this ECW show, we see a recap of last week. We have a new opening video that no longer has the old guy interviewing Jim Neidhart. No longer the footage of Davey Boy Smith. And this one on the WWE Network, they actually used the music, the actual music.
They went back to it. Well, did they do it last week too? It was just that one oddball week or whatever?
Yeah. So we'll see what they do next week. But we definitely have a new open for the show. And Aaron, you look like you had a thought.
Well, no, I thought we were going to move into, I was just saying but before that, they showed the recap of last week, and there was some dispute on who bumped Todd Gordon, and it was Sal Balomo.
It was Balomo.
Balomo bumped Todd Gordon.
I actually, after I even did the fucking show with you guys last week, and I took your word for it, when they replayed it, I still went back and rewound it to make sure that it was Balomo. I'm like, it wasn't Balomo.
And Balomo bumps him, and he's like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah. Oh my god.
Get us some help. Oh my god.
I'm a spicy meatball. I'm so sorry.
Didn't it almost feel like that opening, that montage of all that was the same opening for the last 3 weeks?
It feels like, like you keep having everybody comes out. We get a garbage can or 6.
Yeah, we get the Wolfman.
No, the Wolfman.
If you don't see the Wolfman, is it really truly an opening of a show? Let's be honest.
So now, after we see the recap of last week, we go into a press conference with Todd Gordon that apparently Mr. Apter and Mr. Keller are at.
Which we never see or hear.
Of course we don't. Of course we don't. It's just Todd Gordon and a couple of Goombas sitting around him,
One of them guys was probably Jim Hudson. The aforementioned Jim Hudson, who booked that fucking.
Yeah, that's probably that old fucker that was sitting next to him.
Well, what was great was, how convenient is it for them to say Mr. Apter, Mr. Keller, for their audience? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was such a blatant feed, kind of thing. And I'm thinking well, as soon as he said Mr. Apter, I looked up, and then Eddie comes walking in, kind of fucks everything all up, going, this is great because they're feeding to the people that I know who they're
right. Mm-hmm.
Because remember when Herb Abrams had that stupid company and he had the jobber named Dave Meltzer.
Davey Meltzer.
Yeah, and he thought that would like do something, and, like people would like watch his stuff or or look at it. Whatever.
He even announced that Blackjack Mulligan was going to be part of his company while Blackjack Mulligan was in jail.
Oh, maybe it was all timing.
And he booked Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, booked Bruiser Brody in 90. He booked Bruiser Brody in 90. Yeah, Bruiser
Brody.
Yeah, I thought that was funny, and I love how now JT Smith is Jazzy JT.
Yeah, Jazzy JT is gonna fight the match is announced. Well, the match announced is Dark Patriot and Jazzy JT Smith in a scaffold match. Abdullah the Butcher's gonna be there. Stan Hansen. And then he's gonna let us know about Rockin' Rebel's Wicked Acts, and we all see that.
I mean, literally, let me ask you guys a serious question. If you were gonna do like one of them little press conference gimmicks like that, and you had the opportunity to pick either, I'm just gonna throw two of them out there, Jim Crockett or Todd. Who looks more credible, more believable in their delivery? Any of that?
Jim Crockett to me always looked like he was surprised. Like he always had kind of this, I don't know, deer in the headlights look on his face. Like I like Gordon's ambition, but
my actual answer was neither one of them.
Oh, okay. I was just playing along.
Somebody called Kevin Sullivan or somebody else, whatever. Do it.
Let Terry Funk do it. You got Terry Funk under contract. Let him do it.
Well, these figurehead bookers, and all that stuff, man. Good God, are they just, I mean, I don't know. Are they that starved for attention? I don't know.
In this thing, Gordon says that Rebel is suspended without pay, which is actually better than when Paulie took over because most of the guys had to work without pay. So
they weren't even suspended without pay. They were working without pay.
Without pay.
Yeah, that's funny because first now you're telling us that Mr. Apter or Mr. Keller were in the press conference, and now you're giving us the old school kayfabe of the wrestler being suspended without pay. We all know that. All right, so you're not booking them. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not under contract where he gets a check every single week.
Right.
He can still go work across the street.
He probably does.
Like, part-time, And plus, he has the license. He had the license for Pennsylvania, so he could have ran his own shows. He should have won the business for himself. He said, "Fuck you, Paulie," or "Fuck you, Todd. I'm gonna start running my own shit."
Suspend me without pay. I'll show you.
Yeah, that gimmick is so played out because it didn't even make sense back in the day. Because back in the day, wrestlers used to have matches for purses. Winning side, losing side. There was like really no guarantees. Everybody knew if you worked, you got paid. If you didn't get paid.
Right.
Now it's something that you don't work, you're not getting paid. Well, that means you're not booking me. That pretty much means you're sending me home. Oh, I've been home since March the 12th.
Yeah, I've been home since Cabrini, baby.
Oh yeah. I still have electricity and everything else. You can send me home without paying me, Todd Gordon, your $50.
It's like, oh shucks, I gotta buy my own hot dog and Coke. Fuck.
Todd also gives fines to Paulie and Kevin Christian. Sal Balomo, because he is so sorry. He's excused from what he did to Mr. Gordon
because the kids
wrote letters.
The kids wrote letters saying, please don't blame Sal. He didn't do it on purpose.
That's unbelievable.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, you said it. Whoever, which one of you two said that?
That was
I choose to go with the phrase "that's unbelievable," but Jesus Christ, yes, that
all those letters coming into ECW headquarters, from all the kids,
and right during this whole time period is when Eddie Gilbert was cutting a promo about the videotape or whatever, so it showed a phone number on the TV screen. They could have called and said, "Hey, can I get the address?" So I could tell Mr. Todd Gordon that Mr. Balomo didn't do it on purpose. Yeah.
After further review and much convincing by Mrs. Kincaid's kindergarten class, we have decided that Mr. Balomo is absconded.
Was so sorry.
So sorry. It's a Tootsie Fruitsy. I'm sorry. All right. Moving on. Eddie Gilbert comes in, cuts the promo.
I'm so apologetic. Oopsie. Jesus Christ.
Oopsie.
Oops.
Wow.
Oh, boy, RD. I kind of believe I did that.
Well, right. Hey, how hard was it for you to name the show from last week?
Oh, it was super easy.
Yeah. The only reason why I said it because now I'm going to start saying a thing that says this week's show is Oopsie.
I didn't even put that in my notes. I just...
Oopsie.
Oopsie. I'm writing that down right now. Okay. Eddie Gilbert again cuts the promo during the press conference. It turns out Eddie is going to be our special guest host for this week's episode of ECW.
Of course he is.
Why not?
Well, something that he did say that kind of popped me a little bit was when he busted in the conference, he was like, I should be in here. And he's like yelling. He's like, hell, man, after all this time being here and being the king of Philadelphia, I feel like I should own half the company.
No, I think he said that he did own part of the company.
Yeah, no, he was like selling it like, oh, I think I should own half the company. Like he sold it funny. It was funny.
But yeah, he got into an argument. Was that the argument he got into with Matt Radico, where he was yelling at the guy about how he formatted the show?
Yeah, that's a little later on. He's got his little Eddie Gilbert format sheet, and
yeah, who is Eddie Gilbert to? You know what I'm saying?
What position of authority does he have?
Yeah, we know that behind the scenes, Eddie Gilbert's formatting the shows and editing the shows. But who understands that? You know, on the show, and he's it gets kind of wonky and
it's a fourth wall thing that doesn't really need to be broken down.
Well, the reason Eddie said he took over the show is because nobody else is available. Because Sully is too busy selling vacuum cleaners.
That's right.
Bob Ortiz is busy unplugging a sewer, and Todd Gordon is too busy selling cheap jewelry at his.
Wait till we get to Bob Ortiz's outfit later on in the show.
I got notes on that.
We'll cover that later on.
Like all three of us are like the only thing we got.
Yeah, and
like
it's not even
executive notes on or is Bob Ortiz's fucking outfit.
It's not even just whatever Bob Ortiz is wearing. It's the whole entire thing. Oh, Jesus Christ Almighty!
Well, Eddie Gilbert is hawking videotapes in this first segment here, and then we move into the match we've all been waiting for, or never been waiting for. You do love Terry Funk, but he is out here against a guy we thought, I thought you were gone. The Canadian Wolfman.
Well, I mean, it looks great on my notes because it says Funk versus Dudley. So you would hope that it was like one of Devon or Bubba or somebody, but no, it's Dudley, the Canadian Wolfman. And because now we're starting to get into the I think Gilbert's just finding stuff that was in the can. Just stuff. He has to, right? Am I wrong? Am I?
No. The matches on this show reek of that. Like, what do we got left? All right, we got a Funk Wolfman match, and we've got Johnny Hotbody and the Sandman. That's what we got.
We don't
left.
have
That's
much.
all we have left.
Quality.
No, it's essentially squash matches.
I'll even tell you, Jess came down halfway through it, and she said, "Has there even been a match yet?" You know, and she wasn't paying attention. She was just watching me watch it, and I just go, "There's been like one." I think. And, you know, I'm like more than halfway through it.
The Canadian Wolfman is the only human being in the history of human beings that has had two diseases at the same time. This guy has Dunlap disease and scoliosis at the same time.
Damn.
Like, if you watch the match, he's hunkered over the entire time, and he's got a foompa or whatever. Like, through the whole match. He's fucking disgusting, and he needs to go.
He's got to be gone. Yeah, he has to be.
Well,
how many fucking times did Funk body slam him? Like 9?
Like 5 times. It was like 5 times.
I think at one time when he went to body slam him, like Dudley didn't even help him. He just put his hands out to his side. Like he didn't even help like post himself for Terry to help slam him. He just figured Terry's already done it 4 other times that he can do it. Well, that sucks when a guy has to slam you and you're not helping him post your arm on their leg. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, Terry's doing all the work. But what about the spot where they did the crisscross? The crisscross applesauce.
And the scoliosis affected him, and his gut flipped over his tiny little trunks, and he fucking fell. It was fucking disgusting. Or what about when Terry was trying to give him the goddamn spinning toe hold, the Funk spinning toe hold that you should be super privileged that somebody's like Terry Funk's giving you the Funk spinning toe hold, and Funk's trying to give it to you, and when he gives it to you, he's spinning it. He spins it once, spins it twice, spins it third time, goes to spin it the second time, and then trips on your enormous fucking gut. Did you see that? Like, Funk tripped on him, and he was like, Funk trips on him and goes, "What the shit?" And then goes to do it again. It's fucking terrible. They could have gave Terry Funk somebody better than the goddamn janitor. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's not the janitor, it's the guy that put the ring up.
This shit is terrible.
I thought that, quite honestly, Aaron, you're right. I'm watching it. And I'm like, how many times are you going to spin this guy's leg around? You know, like he's twisting his leg around, you know, like he's Stretch Armstrong or something. And keep doing it.
Well, he only wanted to do it 4 times, but he tripped on his enormous fucking
But he wasn't even selling his leg. Like he was grabbing like his head or something. Or
it was fucking garbage. Like, I have never thought that I would see a Terry Funk match where I was like, I'm fucking mad after watching that. But I was fucking mad after watching this. I'm like, why did somebody do this to Terry Funk? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all. And, Terry Funk can't even make chicken salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's got the Wolfman to deal with.
Not with this pilot shit. No.
Yeah, this was sushi at a gas station. So this was fucking trash.
Hey, at this point, remember how we were just talking about how we thought they were older matches?
Yeah.
Well, didn't the crowd look even smaller than like last week when we were talking about it?
It did. It did. Like, I don't know if it was the lighting or what, but yeah, you could see it. It definitely looked like there were less people.
It was because they were like, "Hey, coming up next is Terry Funk versus the Canadian Wolfman," and everybody's like, "Well, let's go smoke a cigarette."
Well, I would have expected the opposite. I would have thought there would have been a mad rush at the door, and Kathy Fritz would have been like, "What the hell?" People were throwing $20 all over the place. But yeah, that I'm gonna have to talk. I'd love to talk to somebody, behind the scenes about that and find out, how much stuff was actually done that was just thrown in, because they had nothing else to do. Yeah. How long did that go on for?
This is, and it's I guess I'll use this comparison. Remember in like 94 and 95 when the WWF would tape like 4 weeks worth of Raw in one night. And by week 4, they were like, we got a Doink match, and we got a Waylon Mercy match, and we're gonna play and a Rick Martel match, and then we're also gonna play a match from last month's pay-per-view or whatever. I mean, you could just tell they were out of shit to use.
Well, didn't it seem like to you that ECW almost kind of does that stuff almost every single week?
Mm-hmm.
Like they always just look at this is the way I think that Gilbert looked at it. He realizes, okay, these are the points that I need to get over.
Right.
We're booking towards this show. It's me and I don't even know who it is. And these are the matches that we need to get over. And this takes up 22 minutes of time. We need to fill an hour. What else do we have? Does it matter? Because in between them other time you're filling, you're still advertising the show that you're promoting.
Right.
So it doesn't even matter what's on. So do you think that's what's going on?
Possibly. And
how terrible during the fucking Terry Funk Wolfman match was Don Morocco on commentary. He was fucking
come on.
Sully, you got a tattoo? You want me to give you a tattoo?
I've already texted Tony Khan and said I want Don Morocco on Wednesdays. Like everybody thinks Chris Jericho is unbelievable on commentary. You throw Don Morocco out there on AEW Dynamite. Now you got something. Or is he still alive?
Yes.
Yeah, he's still alive. Jericho's got a bigger derby. Jericho's got a bigger gut, but yeah, Morocco's still alive.
Well, to end this thing, the Dark Patriot and Jimmy Snuka come out, and then we are met with the return of Road Warrior Hawk after the Fireball a few weeks ago, and
which they've done nothing to remind people about.
Exactly. I actually have that down here. I forgot that Hawk was around.
I can't even count. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 question marks behind Hawk with a bandage.
They reminded nobody about it.
Well, I wish I could remember because my friend says that we were there, but how they taped this stuff. Just imagine being in the crowd. Just what the fuck's going on?
It's a bunch of people like, what?
Like, who's to say Road Warrior Hawk didn't come out earlier in the night with the bandage, and then later on, because that could have been a taping for the afternoon show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then at night when they had the night show, because they did do that, they did it that way. Afternoon was TV. Saturday night was the bigger show. So who's to say he didn't come out, with the bandage on the afternoon show, and then he did the Fireball angle at the night show? That's crazy. Wow. And the worst part is it's a humongous mistake that Eddie's making, that the WWE makes all the time. Wrestling fans don't forget.
Yes.
The WWE wants you to forget everything as soon as it's done.
We as wrestling fans appreciate continuity. I do. Right. Yeah. I appreciate
WWE wants you to forget everything they do as soon as they do it. Don't worry about it. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving on. But wrestling fans don't forget. They hang on to that shit. I remember when.
Mm-hmm.
What other fan base of any sort of anything, is the I remember when?
Yeah,
it's pro wrestling.
Like a wrestling fan will be like, "Well, didn't this happen?" And then they're like, "Oh, don't worry about that."
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look at
Don't worry.
look at a lot of the you just in general. Look at a lot of the holes and the ups and downs and the continuity fuck ups in the 20-year+ history of Kane and the Undertaker. You know, I'm not trying to get us off the CCW show, but just to Chad's point, like there's so much stuff where they were just like, forget it. His scars are just mental, you know, just roll with it. I mean, just so many things and we as wrestling fans go, no, that's not what you said 2 years ago. That's not what this angle is.
Honestly, I don't have a dog in this race whatsoever. I'm not like I watched it, but that's not a whole lot of stuff that I retained. You know, back then, I don't know, but I'm just saying like the majors, you know, because the stuff I remember about Kane and Taker was he was burnt, it was in a fire, disfigured, you know. I do remember all that, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, wrestling fans remember shit that happened, you know, 6 weeks ago. People were still asking, "Where's Lana?"
And that's what I'm driving at. It's like, why have you shown me the same fucking random brawl 2 weeks in a row? Why not show, if you know you're going to have Road Warriors show back up with his fucking glasses and his burnt face, why not show me that? And be like, oh, this is the progression of Road Warrior Hawk trying to get his vision back.
Well, that's too easy. I mean, it's too easy to refresh the fans' memory of why Road Warrior Hawk has a patch on his eye and everything. Oh yeah, it's probably because somebody in the studio is too fucking lazy to go back and find the actual hard cassette.
Yeah.
To find the angle where they did it at. You know, they're just like,
They did manage to show us last week's brawl twice in this show.
It's like we don't understand why Hawk is dressed up like Ronnie Millsap, but we do understand why Todd Gordon got bumped. Jesus Christ.
I may have to change the name of this episode to Jesus Christ.
No, I would have to throw Ronnie Millsap's name in there somewhere.
Oopsie, Ronnie Millsap.
Oopsie, Ronnie Millsap.
Ronnie Millsap? Question mark? Aaron with the Dennis Miller like cut there.
Is this the segment where the Eddie was in the studio, like right the next spot? Where, I mean, do you have anything else on that Hawk running out thing?
Yeah, him and Funk cut a promo, and then the next segment is the Eddie Matt Radico spot. Yes.
Yeah, this is where he's
segment. I mean, not spot.
Yeah, this is the Adventures of Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah, you notice Matt had a beeper.
Yeah.
I popped for that. I was like, "This got a beeper."
And now we go to after Eddie busts Matt's balls here. We go to Eddie's world. We go to Eddie and Paulie. More footage from obviously the same night that they did the last footage.
Oh yeah,
still wearing the same shirt, and they're
all of it. All of it is. It's all the same night.
And Eddie, of course, is hammered, as Aaron said. Aaron, you want to take us through this?
Well, Eddie Gilbert is at some cafe, and he meets a girl named Rosemarie. And he goes, "Oh, Rosemarie, is that the chick from Dick Van Dyke?" And she's like, "No." And he goes, "Yeah." And Paulie's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're named after the chick from Dick Van Dyke. I think your parents conceived you while they were watching Dick Van Dyke." And then he asked her to marry her. And she leaves, and he says, "I don't think she's realized I've had so many." And then Paulie says, "How many what?"
I forgot. Oh,
yeah,
he goes, how many again?
No, Paulie says, how? Eddie says, "I don't think she realizes I've had so many." And Paulie goes, "How many what?" And Eddie goes, "I'm not going to tell you." Like, no, Eddie's fucking
I thought he said, like, how many again? Like, how many? Or either what? Yeah. How many or how many what?
Yeah, how many what? Like, Eddie's fucking drunk as fuck on this thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can tell by the video quality that it's all shot on the same camera at the same time. You know, it's got that dull look to it. It's, you know, it's definitely a stationary, I don't know, high 8 whatever production camera that they're using. They, you know, because I mean, how many of these nights do you think Todd Gordon's going to fund?
Yeah.
Where they just let Eddie Gilbert and Paulie go run around on South Street, and, you know, and get all loaded and talk to fucking rubes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then they kick Rosemarie out because Paulie notices some guy with fucking Coke bottle glasses and brings him over and tells this guy to fucking kiss the hand. And the guy's like, I'm not going to kiss the hand. And Paulie's like, don't you know who this is? And Eddie's like, I know who that is. That's John Arezzi in the before and after picture after he got fat.
I got that note down as well.
Yeah,
and Paulie fucking loses it. Like it's the only time Paulie breaks character during this whole thing is when he goes, that's after Arezzi got fat, and fucking Paulie loses it, man.
Yeah, that whole, I don't know what was going on with all that.
Well, if there's something Paulie loves, it's busting Arezzi's chops. So,
and then they bring up some black guy, and I put in my notes, I was like, they mentioned John Arezzi, they throw Coke bottle glasses out, and then comes Little Mr. Hughes.
I actually have down.
That guy looked like Mr. Hughes, didn't he?
It's funny.
Little Mr. Hughes.
I actually have right here on my note. Is that Mr. Hughes' brother?
No, it's Little Mr. Hughes.
I thought Paul was even going to say that. Like, he looks like I would have thought he would have said Curtis Hughes. You know, he looks like Curtis Hughes because they could have said the football player. You know, It could have been a vague statement, but I was like, yeah, I got like Curtis Hughes.
If he would have fell asleep, I would have thought it was him.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. Well, my match with him hasn't aired yet. Unbelievable.
That's funny that we all had that down.
Yeah, we're all on the same wavelength.
It's all about the Balomo, Little Mr. Hughes, and Bob Ortiz outfit coming up here shortly. So the next segment is the Sandman and Johnny Hotbody.
Well, we can go right by that one.
I actually put this as a match. That's all I have down here. Other than Paulie,
there's some stuff in here.
Other than Paulie with calling Peaches a tramp and a broad and a, going.
He
with
called
that
her a
angle.
tramp, but my thing is, Road Warrior Hawk got fire somewhat thrown at his face, and he's still blind. Okay. But like 2 weeks ago, Peaches got butter thrown in her face, and they were like, "Oh, she's completely blind. She's never gonna see again, and she's just out here."
You got butter?
Well, that's what you said.
Oh, well,
they said it was ink. They said it was either ink, tar, and then you were like, "Oh, it's probably butter, paint."
Why would you listen to me? Dude, my wife don't even fucking listen to me. I just do a podcast with you. We're not running a household together, and she even knows well enough to not believe me.
I contain information, and what I'm saying is that Peaches was blinded 2 weeks ago, and she's perfectly fine. She's just out there like, "Oh, I'm good now, hot butter. I'm good."
So we have established that Peaches is more of a badass than a road warrior.
Yeah, either that or she's just a lobster and she's just used to hot butter being thrown at her.
Yeah.
But Hawk, who's apparently the best way to not get blind is just be hopped up on the cocaine. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because I remember, I don't know, I guess it would be a year later. Nate, do you recall when did they bring Hawk back later on?
I don't
because
think
I
so.
remember being.
Wait. Maybe because there is a time coming up when there's like a string of challenges for Shane Douglas, like Tully Blanchard And I think there's a couple other guys that come in to challenge Shane,
Well,
and
isn't
Hawk
that,
might
like,
be
a
on
little
that
later?
list. Yeah, but Hawk might be on that list. He might be one of those guys. I can't remember. But they were bringing in, it's like a year or two from now. It's like 95, but
see, like in the press conference, Todd Gordon, we got to suspend Rockin' Rebel for 90 days because he blinded Peaches.
That's
But
right.
here she is, like 3 segments later, perfectly fine.
I think
He
Rockin'
didn't do
Rebel
anything
got the fucking here, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
got
so-
the fucking.
Somebody sold him a bill of goods on the hot butter. He got some fake butter.
He got ripped
Yeah,
off.
he's
on
like,
that
I didn't even do anything to the
It's
bitch.
that-
I
it's
just
that
threw
butter-
ink in her face.
It was
and
that.
she's
It was that
fucking
butter.
fine.
It was that butter substitute shit you get at the
It was
movie.
margarine.
Yeah.
It was It was. What a country crock.
That's
All right.
embarrassing. Good God. That's hilarious that you actually listened to me over that. Butter. Because clearly it was black stuff running down her back. Yeah. Butter?
I'm just saying, Rocket Rebel did nothing wrong. He just threw ink in her butter or whatever in her face, and she's fucking fine again. But they're like, go away for 90 days. He's like, shit, how am I going to keep the heat on? God damn it. I didn't do anything to her.
Now you mean how is it going to keep the heat on because he's suspended without pay?
Yeah.
Like how are you going to keep the actual physical heat on?
Yeah.
I can't afford to run the air conditioning, in July in the summertime when I'm suspended for 90 days. That $50 goes a long way.
He's hoping for that call from Jim Crockett Jr. to go work for the World Wrestling Network.
Oh, apparently a lot of them guys were. I'm so glad that I was not anywhere mixed up in any of that. That was just a disaster. When you start hearing about paydays like what Sabu got and stuff like that, then you're just like, I mean, going to New York is not cheap.
Right. Yeah.
It's not cheap getting into New York. You're going to pay 60, sometimes 40, 50, $60 just in tolls alone to get into New York. And I ain't to mention gas.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure
I got to hand you a fraction of what he agreed to pay you,
Yeah.
That's a fucking, get the fuck out of here.
That's a fucking right there. Yes.
That's why I'm glad that I wasn't mixed up in that. And nobody's ever going to get a shoot interview with me talking about that because I don't know. And I'm glad that I don't know.
Far away from that as possible, right?
Fuck yeah, I was. But now, aren't we getting to
now we get to Eddie's on the phone, and now he's talking about how he's beat the shit out of Jerry Lawler, he's beat the shit out of Terry Funk.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
he sent Jerry Lawler to the WWF, and he beat Terry Funk. Then he hangs up the phone. He's doing cutesy fruitsy shit with like the Philadelphia Stars.
Well, who's the guy he's talking about? I don't know who that is. Rob?
I don't either.
Oh, the football player, Rob.
Yeah, Rob
I don't know.
Jarkowski?
I'm being honest. I'm not a football guy, so I don't know.
Yeah, neither am I. I don't watch either.
He's the fuck stick at this birthday party or whatever they're at.
I actually have on here. I think there's a bouncy house somewhere in that little area that they're performing this in.
Like the goddamn ring truck is in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in case it rains, they got to put all the fans.
Everybody
fans
in the
need
ring
shelter.
truck. Everybody in the ring truck. Somebody grab the goddamn cake and get in the ring truck.
Yeah, come on. I mean, and there's plenty of extra room so you can serve the cake.
And they're like, we don't want to. They're like, we don't want to get in the truck, and they're like, it was good enough for a Juve Ernesto to get here. You should be proud to be here.
You know what's weird to me is that have you guys seen that commercial where Todd does the deal where he advertises like the phone number to do like the fundraising shows? and then he does the thing where he shows like Sandman with the little handicapped kid like in the lawn and all that stuff. Have you never seen that yet, or they haven't even aired that yet?
No, I don't think so. No, I haven't seen that.
I'm looking forward
think we're going to
it,
start
though.
seeing it because I think they just got all the footage for all these commercial spots that they're going to run. It runs as a promotional spot for how you can raise money for your fundraiser.
By booking ECW.
It shows that footage, but it shows other than that footage. Like, imagine, now that you know the Sandman, the big drunk that he is, he's literally laying on a lawn with some young fucking kid in this wetsuit, and he's kind of got his arm around him, kind of thing. And JT's there, and it's I'm telling you, that's the same show that they did that commercial for. It has to be, and I can't even remember the name of the organization because Sandman was pretty adamant about it. Like he really supported that foundation, like because it was literally it wasn't you didn't have to work the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was if you wanted to, you would. You weren't going to get paid. It was literally in some part. I wasn't even nowhere near nowhere near there because they wouldn't even have to have asked me if I wanted to or no.
Sal Balomo probably wasn't allowed to be within 50 miles of it.
Well, his probation officer.
Yeah. Oh, you can't go anywhere near that. Your ankle brace.
Sal, you were not allowed to be here. Oopsie.
Oopsie.
I did it again.
Much apologize.
All right, let him go.
But let's talk about Bob Ortiz in his pink tank top and booty shorts. What the fuck?
I thought he was going to be on roller skates.
I think I might actually just sit out and let you guys do this because I honestly think that it's way too easy for me to do it. Way too easy.
That's my notes is what the fuck is Bob Ortiz doing in his booty shorts and
at
pink tank top?
Yeah, welcome to Bob Ortiz flower shop here in the middle of this barbecue.
He's at the barbecue and be like, come and get your hot dog. It's like, what the fuck?
Bob, that to me, like, I couldn't even tell you how many times I legitimately just chuckled when they gratuitously showed Bob Ortiz standing in the back. And I'm looking at him, I'm just going, that is such a shame.
If they would have zoomed in closer to his fucking booty shorts, you would have known what fucking religion he was. Jesus Christ. Fucking terrible. What is he fucking? And he had pink socks and Reeboks. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, let's be honest. They all look silly. Every single one of them. Even Eddie looks silly. He tucked his T-shirt into his sweatpants that he had spandex on underneath of it.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck was this show?
Bob was, Bob was one of the guys that, based upon where I was at, on the totem pole.
Yeah, like Bob was he contributed money to it. I understand that, but it's like,
I don't know anything about that.
I've heard that Bob Ortiz had money invested in it.
I just know that me and Bob always talked because we always thought we were always like them guys at the bottom. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just guys that were helping do the show. So we were like always like friendly and stuff like that. And I really did form a good relationship with Bob. But watching him out there, that's why it made me chuckle so many times. I'm like,
it couldn't have been that warm outside. Wear that fucking outfit.
I don't know. Well, think about it. The show was airing in July, so it was probably taped in May.
At least put some fucking shorts on that go to your knees.
Oh no,
Jesus Christ!
Well,
it was bad.
it's not too much longer until we start seeing Rocky show up. Rocky RTs. He's the other either ring announcer or the guy that takes the jackets or the bell guy. But it's somebody related to him, and I became friends with him too. But yeah, that seeing Bob Ortiz at that cookout. Do you guys know who Bob McGee is?
Bob McGee. I don't think so.
Well, they showed him. He was at the cookout. He's the guy that looked like Buck Robley.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. I know which guy you're talking about. I didn't know that was a Bob McGee. I didn't know what a Bob McGee was.
Well, his name is Bob McGee, and his brother's name is Sarge. And when we used to go to the shows all the time, you know, all the conventions up there in Philly and stuff like that, we would run into them. And I used to always tell him that he looked like Buck Robley.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me this story now. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then I would just refuse to just not call him Buck Robley. Like, you know, that's just not going to happen. You're fucking Buck Robley. That's just the way that it is.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Like, you know, whatever. And then when I saw them show him like on the camera, and I'm just like, oh my God, even Bob McGee's at a Make-A-Wish fucking cookout. The fuck. Like,
And
there's so many guys that you're gonna start seeing that pop up like, you know, randomly on the show, that you're gonna start seeing them and other stuff, because going back. Like Aaron, I can't believe you didn't say it. Going back to when Eddie was on South Street, didn't you think one of the guys that Eddie brought on was going to be named John Gillum?
Yeah, I thought that fucking dude they said was the John Arezzi retard was going to be that guy.
John Gillum.
I thought it when I saw it. I was like, oh, this is John Gillum. And then they didn't call him it. They said he was the skinny John Arezzi. I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, I was completely like, oh man, they missed that opportunity. You know, after they threw a couple of jabs in with the Wade Keller and the after and all, I'm thinking, you got to throw a John Gillum in here today.
Yeah, and that Make-A-Wish, why would they end it on that? That was fucking trash. That little fucking football guy they had, or whatever they were calling Jaws. And they had
that's all I wrote. That's all I wrote was Jaws. I don't.
And it also of course featured showing us that Hunter Q. Robbins and Stevie Wonderful are both still around at this point because they're involved in this whole deal. And Ron Jaworski guy, who we don't know who the fuck he is, pushes Eddie Gilbert on his ass, and that pretty much ends the segment.
Yeah. After he does like four boogie woogie man fucking knee jives or whatever, it's fucking trash. The show was terrible.
He did.
Like, I was literally mad. I was literally mad after I watched this show.
Just sitting there angry, right? Mad. Sitting there in your anger.
Like
knee jives. Knee jives.
Like if I didn't rent my house, yeah, the fucking Jaws did knee jives like fucking Boogie Woogie Man. Like if I didn't own my house, I would have punched a hole in the fucking wall. I would just punch it.
What's the knee jive?
Mercy Daddy.
Like where they do the Mercy Daddy, and they do that shit with what you just did. I can't see your legs, which I don't want to, but what you just did right there, that fucking Jaws guy did that like 7 times. Yeah, what you did right there. Yeah.
Knee jives.
Put it in perspective. Yeah. Like doing that shit, like he did it like 5 times, and everybody that was like watching the show was just smiling and laughing and shit. It was fucking terrible. God damn, Ed better got a good fucking payoff.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the best thing I can get out of this show is we have 3 or 4 suitable names for the show. That's probably the biggest takeaway of this show. I think I'm going to throw Knee Jive out there too. I don't know how old you are, but Knee Jive. He's a whiz. I don't even know what that. I didn't even know what it was.
You know what knee jive is? Like
apparently I do now.
Yeah.
I thought it was like George Thorogood with the hand jive, but you're doing it with your knees. But as soon as you said Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man, I'm like, oh, the Bercy Daddy.
I thought of Forrest Gump when he has leg braces on.
Yeah, I mean, what is that?
Well, he did it. Forrest did it better than Jaws. Just saying, this fucking show pissed me off.
Maybe we got to remember that we're probably in different demographics almost. I'm probably more than 10 years older than both of you guys, and whoa. I mean, is that something all the kids are saying? Can I start saying it tomorrow?
Well, I don't know. I might have just made it up. I don't fucking know.
Well, I thought I was cool by telling Jess that I knew what Fleek was.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, it's stupid. don't even bother. It's supposed to be like something like cool, like your money, your 100%. But I mean, throw any of that stupid. Fleek, I think it's what they say it is.
Fleek? That means you're on fleek. You're classy or whatever. I don't fucking know.
Oh yeah, well, this show is completely fleek.
At least we're not bougie, I guess. All right. So at the end of the show, Jay Sully shows up 20 minutes early, but an hour too late, and he looks sweaty as usual.
It's the story of his fucking life. It's the story of his fucking life.
And that is how we close it out, this edition of ECW from July the 27th, 1993.
How did you feel about the way that show ended, Nate?
I thought it was goofy.
There?
In that, I mean, I don't know if your show is being presented. Yeah, it was goofy. It was just goofy to me. The whole show was goofy.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say goofy. Aaron, how do you think this show ended?
At the end of it, how did I feel?
Yeah.
I felt mad at myself for watching it.
Maybe I asked the wrong person. I was trying to ask somebody who's doing a legitimate, honest review of something. Not that somebody.
That was my honest review of it. I was mad at myself for watching this show.
I just thought it was goofy and a waste of time. It was a waste of an hour of television.
Like I liked Eddie and Paul. They were super entertaining when they were doing their shit, and that's the only thing I liked from it.
I thought they just missed so many opportunities to promote the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like all that stuff with Eddie in the studio.
Well, and to what you're saying, to that point, when the show started, it had promise because, like you were saying, like the show started off talking about Ultra Clash. Okay, we got another major show coming up, and blah blah blah. And then after the press conference, that stopped.
like I'd say this, like the Make-A-Wish thing or whatever at the bounce house that they put in the middle of it or at the end of it, that would have been fine. But put that in the middle and then end with Road Warrior Hawk coming out being blinded and running off the Dangerous Alliance and shit. That would have been a way to end the show.
And the
show with fucking Jaws and fucking Bob Ortiz in his booty shorts. It was a mismanaged
The outdoor segment should have been cut down in half.
It should have been cut down and erased. I'm sorry. I don't mean cut down and erased. I mean cut down in the small portions.
If their intention in the local market of Philadelphia was to use this Jaworski guy, who apparently is famous in Philadelphia, to give Eddie
he was a quarterback.
To give Eddie a rub. Okay, if the idea was to give Eddie a rub by using this Jaworski guy, and you can get some attention for your promotion,
like local play.
Yeah, that's fine, but it didn't need to be 10 minutes long. This is something you cut down to like 2 minutes worth of highlights and have narration. You know, you don't play the whole segment from the barbecue.
Because I haven't came in yet, but I don't even think there was a payoff. You know, I don't even think that the guy even came back again, or there was anything.
Doubtful.
You know, like I said, I don't
look like the Mrs. Dad.
It's the Mrs. Dad?
He looked like the Mrs. Remember the Mrs. Dad was on WWE for a while? That's what this guy looked like, the Mrs. Dad.
Yeah, maybe that should be the name of the show. That was the Mrs. Dad.
Oopsie, the Mrs. Dad.
Oopsie, that was Mrs. Dad.
Like I said, I don't watch football, and I don't know all these guys' names, and they never really made it clear to me as to who the fuck this guy is or was. Mm-hmm. So to me, it just sounded like he was just a Philadelphia, darling kind of thing. And, I'm going to the shows. So I'm there every single month. And I don't know who, I don't think there was a payoff on any of this, So
gotta hope not.
Why put any investment into this?
This guy paid Todd to put a show on his fucking yard for his kids and the neighbors. That's all I take from it, and it was fucking garbage.
And you know what? Little Miz was so happy to see Eddie Gilbert.
It's like the minute Jaws got in the ring, Eddie should have been like, "Oh, I think you're gonna need a bigger ring."
I would have did.
Fucking garbage, man.
I would have did an angle just for the cookout. An angle where Eddie got bumped or whatever, just for the cookout. But if this guy's a big star in Philadelphia or whatever, then just have him cut promos. Not promos for a match, just bumpers.
Yeah.
I'm Ron Jobberkowski. And when I'm in Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I'm in Philadelphia, I watch ECW on the Sports Channel, whatever the fuck it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have them cut a million of them. But yeah, it's not gonna. I live an hour and a half away from Philadelphia, and I never heard of this guy.
And watching that, like, you watch the end of the show, and this is how your show's ending, and it looks fucking pathetic.
It's lazy.
It looks pathetic.
They didn't go off with anything to hook you, to attract you to want to come back next week. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Aaron, wasn't fucking Eddie's feet on a chair? Like, he had his feet up. Like,
yeah, it was. It's fucking
Jay
garbage.
Sully's just like, Eddie, well, we'll be back next week, Eddie.
You ruined the show. It's just like, God damn it.
This is the first.
We got that Eddie's going to ruin.
And you know what? Like, usually when the show ends and they put the credits up there with like the pink screen or whatever, and they show the brawling behind it and like all the shit that's going on, the only highlight that they could show you as the credits were ending was Terry Funk beating up the Canadian Wolfman.
Good.
I'd rather watch
the highlight of their fucking show.
I'd rather watch the footage they had of JT Smith and Glenn Osborne enjoying some barbecue at Jaw's house.
And
it was great.
Let's not forget the ridiculousness of when Glenn Osborne was just standing in the ring when Eddie and Hunter Hugh were cutting their promo, and then Eddie sneaks behind Glenn Osborne, hits him with the crutch. Glenn Osborne does his.
It was the cane.
Yeah, it's cane, and then Glenn Osborne does the fucking flop drum or flop bump or whatever behind him, and then Eddie pins him 1, 2, 3 with his foot, and then Glenn Osborne just gets up and walks out.
Just rolls out.
Yeah, but then he goes outside. Then he goes outside to help the fucking handicapped kid that they were going to have in the spot later. Like he comes out, and all of a sudden Tommy Cairo's there, and they go, we're going to get him.
And Sandman's there. Like,
and Glenn Osborne's like, get him, Jaws. Get him, Jaws. In his gravelly indie wrestler voice, get him, Jaws.
Dude, Glenn Osborne just got hit in the back of the head with a cane and got pinned with his foot on his chest. You know, I don't know. I mean, there was no doctors at ringside. I didn't see anybody giving him smelling salt or anything or checking on his concussion status. But they were like, no, roll outside and give that Make-A-Wish kid some inspiration.
Well, overall, this is the first
man
show
from the Bandland says you're gonna walk again one day.
Yeah. In 17, we've done this show now for 17 weeks, and this is the first show, ironically, considering even how bad those really, really first shows were. This is the first show I've actually given a 0 to. I gave it a 0 score. I didn't
for being that bad.
I just didn't enjoy it. I thought it was goofy and a waste of time. And like we were saying earlier, or like I was saying earlier to what you were saying, Chad, about hyping the big show, I had promised when I started the show, because the show kind of started off with, the press conference. And I mean, yeah, there was some silliness there, but it was at least getting to a point of talking to about the next big show. And then through the rest of the show, I got no feeling about that at all. So bad show.
I just lost, emotional connection, like you, Nate, like really early. I bought into the press conference thinking, wow, this could be great. You got, I mean, theoretically, what do you have? 42 minutes, whatever, of TV time,
right?
To promote what you got, and then you got Todd Gordon saying you're bringing in Abdullah the Butcher, Stan Anson.
We're gonna have a scaffold. We're gonna have a scaffold match. Hervé Ernesto, yes. Yeah.
Well, that's who works Stan Anson, I think, at the tapings. But yeah, but I mean, you have the whole entire hour to promote what you're going to make money on. That's a money making show, because that to me, in that day and age, was a fly or die show. That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. He spent a ton of money, because don't forget, they all had to get there, and they all needed somewhere to stay.
Right.
That's a lot of money that Todd put into that show, and they just didn't, in my opinion, they didn't use your time wisely. And what number did you give it? A 0?
0. Yeah. The show let me down big time. Like, in every show we've watched since we started, there are a couple things I can find that I really enjoy, at least, to give it somewhat of a, a little bump, a little score. But this one just, I wasn't like Aaron. I wasn't sitting there stewing in my anger when I was done watching it, but I was definitely disappointed in what I watched.
I would say the best part for me was the Bill Apter, Mr. Keller, John Arezzi joke, and then me seeing Bob McGee in the crowd was probably the highlight of the show for me. So not only am I going to give it a 0, I'm going to ask for my money back. That's what I'm giving it for the WWE Network.
I want my $9.99 a month back right now.
Yeah, for at least 1 month.
Fork it over, Hunter.
Yeah, that's I want my money back show right there. And I guess now we're getting into the meat. Aaron, you haven't even did it yet, right?
Well, what do you get when you add a -2 with a 0?
-2?
That would be, there you go. A -2.
Well,
this fucking show was trash, man. Like this, I thought last week, and I think I gave it a 1. I said this, like, last week was the worst ECW 93 show I watched. But this show, to me, was fucking terrible. Like, I loved Eddie and Paul just out on the street talking to people and shit. Like, that was great. But as a whole, I can't give this show anything. It was bad.
Can you imagine what it was like in '93 when it aired? What do you think they said then?
You're sitting there as a viewer going, this thing's never going to make it.
I probably disagree. I probably think people just clamming around the TV that are remarks. They just couldn't wait to hear the fucking Wade Keller, Bill Apter, and Connor Rezzy
comment. What's Jaws going to do next week?
Because, nobody was really watching it. At that time, what was it? Was it even in the 100,000s? Do you know, Nate?
Oh, probably not. And it was probably not even airing. It probably wasn't even airing in a good time slot.
No, of course not.
I mean,
probably are we talking maybe tens of thousands?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
So,
I think at this point, if you think about it, they're probably the shows are also behind the promotion, if that kind of makes sense. Like there's probably some buzz going on about ECW because they're starting to sign, okay, we're going to bring in Abdullah the Butcher and we're going to bring in Stan Hansen and we're going to do it. The content's getting a little more violent, but the show itself being pre-taped and, like we said earlier, using scraping the bottom of the barrel of the footage you have left, is the show itself isn't keeping up with the promotion at this point. I don't know if what I said made sense or not. It made sense in my head.
Well, no, it means the promotion itself isn't moving as fast as the show.
Right.
Because, we need the promotion for the show. And all you're doing, I guess you're right. All you're doing is throwing out, just the Wolfman, and a couple of promos and stuff. That's never going to work. It never has worked. And ECW was just lucky that they came around at a great time where everything sucked.
Yeah. People were clamoring for something different, and in about a month or so, we're going to get that. We're getting there.
And ECW gave you something different, but in this aspect, this was fucking bad. This was like, even taking out the equation of this being like an ECW thing, this was just a bad show.
Jesus. How do you really feel? Well, I'll look at it this way, because the closer we get to when I get there, will be the closer that I'll have a more idea of what was going on in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm a fan. I'm out there in the crowd and everything like that, with my friends. So I don't know how anything was then. So yeah, the closer we get to when I get there, then I can start telling you, oh, this was going on. And there's a whole lot of this was going on. There is a whole lot of this was going on.
If I'm watching a wrestling show and I see a Hertz truck in the back and a guy flipping burgers, I'm just like, nope. This is bad.
Well, it's a cookout, right? I mean, are you talking about the wrestling cookout? Is Bob Ortiz burgers?
So, the description for next week's show is nondescript, which does not bode well for us reviewers.
I think there's the next show. I looked at it. It's 34 minutes and like 52 seconds long.
Yeah, and all the WWE network has is that Todd Gordon gives some insight into the upcoming matches at Ultra Clash. And the show features Jimmy Snuka, JT Smith, Dark Patriot, and many more. And that's it. That's their description. So I think next week's show, we might continue our rough go. But like I keep trying to say, I keep trying to give us hope. We're headed toward Ultra Clash. We're headed toward a change in ECW. we're headed toward that time that Chad has kept telling us as we've held each other's hands through these tumultuous times that we are getting there. We're getting there, and this is it. This is we're on the precipice of where we're going to go with ECW.
Hands across Philadelphia.
hands across Philadelphia.
America.
God damn it, we're going to make it. We're going to make it, folks. We're in the home stretch.
We're building our quilt. We're building our quilt.
When you see the different ring, like after they get rid of fucking Dudley's ring,
and Dudley himself,
that's the whole man's fucking everything up.
That's the whole deal. Once they get rid of Dudley and the Wolfman, and they get rid of his ring, and then I'm gonna say that they start using Petty's ring, and that's when you're really gonna start seeing. I'm not even going to say it's going to be a whole lot better. I'm just going to say it's going to be better.
It's going to be better, yeah.
Dude, I mean, anything's better.
Let's start calling the Canadian Wolfman Dunlap Dudley.
Dunlap Dudley. Dunlapped over the...
Dunlapped.
Aaron, parting words for our listeners this week as we sign off.
If you guys watch this show, God bless you. And pour a little bit out for yourselves and for your fallen brothers and that good stuff. This show was rough, and I am proud of the three of us for getting an hour and 15 minutes out of this. Because
God bless
nobody else could have done that.
And you know what? You're goddamn right. Nobody else could have done it.
Nobody else could have done it. Anybody else that thinks they could, they can go fuck themselves.
The main reason why nobody else could have done it was because nobody else would want to do
it. we're sadists.
I mean, and the worst part is nobody's holding the gun to our head.
We're doing this voluntarily.
You fucking idiots are gonna watch fucking this ECW fucking show.
I gotta change the subtitle of the show. Reliving the extreme. These three fucking idiots watch ECW.
Gun to the
head. Chad, any parting words this week?
I don't know, guys. I just want everybody to follow it's reliving the.
Reliving the Extreme.
Reliving the Extreme page. Everybody knows me. I'm Chad Austin DeMiro on Facebook, and I'm Chad Austin DeMiro on the Twitter page. And if you want any tapes, you can just find them on YouTube. But check out what I'm really proud of is the journey that we've done here.
Mm-hmm.
That we came a long way from nothing to this. You said we're only how many weeks?
17 weeks. This will be week 17.
And we've made great strides.
And on our Facebook page, sorry, I didn't mean to forget this. It's only 101, but we're over 100 followers on our Facebook page.
Yes. And downloads
we're making pretty good strides.
Mm-hmm. Downloads are increasing, and I thank all of you that listen, and thank you to the partners that I have gotten here that are letting us share our show through their avenues and platforms as well. And also, I would say that we, like Chad said, we're definitely making great strides with this show. 17 weeks in, we haven't even got to the good stuff yet, and it's only up from here. So thank you all that have supported us so far. Thank you all that are going to listen retroactively.
And if we get up to 500 members on the Facebook group, Bob Ortiz will show up in his booty shorts and make hot dogs for you.
I can probably make that happen. I still talk to Bob. I'm sure he's not going to want to hear that request.
He's gonna be like, it was 1993, man. Buttonfly was a thing. Come on.
I would just tell him, just don't worry, just show up. We'll find you the proper attire.
We'll furnish your outfit.
Do you have your acid wad? your acid washed booty shorts. Get up there, Bob Ortiz. Make them their bar ass hot dogs.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us once again this week. We hope you all have a great week, and join us next week as we continue reliving the extreme. Have a great week.